To start with our breaking news this hour, and that's that Russia has vetoed the UN resolution on establishing a tribunal over the downing of flight MH17 in East Ukraine last July. Moscow was expected to make the move. Well, in the run-up to the vote, Russia made its position clear, saying this is a criminal case and therefore is out of the UN's jurisdiction. Moscow has also been insisting that other cases where a passenger plane was shot down were not solved by a tribunal, but rather by a criminal investigation. Well, let's cross now live to our New York correspondent, Marina Portnaya, who is following this story and joins us live. Marina, good to see you there. So no real surprises then at the UN Security Council, but just elaborate, tell us more about Russia's position.
Well, of course, Russia delivered on its promise and used its veto power. But we should mention that of the 11 of the 15 members of the Security Council voted in favor of the resolution. Angola, China, and Venezuela abstained. Now, the resolution drafted by Australia, Belgium, Malaysia, Netherlands, and Ukraine calls for judges and prosecutors to be appointed by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon and stresses urgency. Russia insists that the creation of another international investigation into the downing of MH17 would be counterproductive because there is already a joint investigation team led by the Netherlands probing the cause and culprits behind the downing of the plane. Now, while the Security Council has established tribunals to investigate mass war crimes, it's never established tribunals for civilian aircrafts which have been shot down in the past, including the downing of an Iranian flight in 1988, which was allegedly done by a U.S. missile, or the 2001 downing of a Russian plane by Ukrainian military. Now, Moscow categorized the creation of a special tribunal for MH17 as a political move.
Неоднократно заявляли, что не поддерживаем идею создания трибунала по главе 7 устава. Для этого нет никаких оснований, с учетом в частности того, что Совет Безопасности в резолюции 2166 не квалифицировал трагедию Боинга в качестве угрозы международному миру и безопасности. Сложно объяснить, как завершившиеся события, которые год назад не считалось угрозой международному миру и безопасности, теперь вдруг становятся ею.
It's important to note that Russia did propose an alternative draft which called for greater transparency in the establishment of a special representative to investigate the crash. That proposal was rejected by the Security Council, and the U.S. and its Western allies called Russia's veto a desperate attempt to delay accountability. Australia described the no vote as an affront to the families and 298 passengers and crew who died. But Ambassador Turkin underscored to the Council that Russia fully supports an independent, impartial investigation into the MH17 tragedy, noting that immediately following the downing of the plane, Russia supported rapid access to the crash site, publicly released its satellite images to support the investigation, and also led the way to call for an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine. Ambassador Turkin stressed that Russia does very much want to participate equally into the investigation of the MH crash and hold those responsible accountable. But when you listen to Ambassador Turkin's tone, it seems that Russia doesn't feel very confident that this new investigation will help things, or that it will be completely impartial, that Russia will have a role in any way. And at this point, Moscow doesn't feel very confident that establishing a second investigation with a criminal tribunal is going to lead to conclusions any quicker.
Marina, thank you very much for the update. New York correspondent Marina Portnaya reporting there.